Welcome to another event on MAD Arron's Wasteland server. In this one, we're going to see the Rotorheads attempt to smuggle some monuments into the uranium pit. Now, they've ripped these out of the ground, they've loaded them onto rovers, and they are attempting to get them inside the uranium pit. The reason why they're doing this, though, is a little bit uncertain. There's rumours going around the server that they're going to be using these in defensive operations, that they're going to block the pit up, stop other players from getting inside the pit, but we really don't know. So the players have moved to try and intercept the Rotorhead convoy, and this little eager blue rover goes straight into a flip after shooting into the convoy escorts. But the players have got a little strategy up the sleeve, and it's a sneaky one. Using that little blue rover, they've managed to distract the rover escorts, and they've stuck to the rear of the convoy, leaving the lighthouse on the escort rover here vulnerable to attack. And RAB are utilising that. You can see the RAB rover with a little green, black and red stripes there, are trying to launch some missiles into the wheelbase. And if you know anything about rovers in Space Engineers, the wheels and the suspension, if you can land shots on them, it's the quickest way of disabling and stopping a rover. But they are a little bit too late, and the rest of the players haven't managed to get to this convoy in time. They're still conducting some repairs from the previous event that has just happened. But still, RAB are landing some critical shots here with the rockets. Shot after shot, you can see some of the wheels and suspension components underneath are ripping and tearing from the bottom of that rover, and a big explosion has ripped another pair of wheels. The escort rovers are now getting back into position and starting to lay down some fire on RAB. If they can keep this up, they'll be able to stop that RAB rover from doing anything else, and it looks like they've managed to achieve it. Over the next hill is the uranium pit, and that rover would have made it. A little rover from RAB there trying to fire its Gatling gun turrets, but it's just too late. The first of the many monuments the Rotorheads want to smuggle back to this pit has arrived, and there is nothing the players can do about it. So for this next one, they're going to have to get organised and plan a proper ambush along this route. So now we're on to Convoy 2. This monument is some sort of medical facility that the Rotorheads have dug up from the ground and stuck on the top of their transport chassis. RAB are once again first on the scene, but this time they are directing the other players in, and they have a very sneaky ambush that you're about to see up their sleeve. With RAB and some of the other large rovers chasing and pursuing the rovers, this time the Rotorhead pack is sticking together, firing volleys and volleys of interior gunfire, as well as some of their manned turrets, landing a few successful hits, but a lot of the fire seems to be going wide. RAB, on the other hand, are successfully trying to hit it with some missiles, and it looks like the Rotorheads have dropped some sort of explosive canister from the back, completely missing its pursuers though. The escorts are doing a great job here in stopping anyone from getting through. Maybe too much of a good job. The Rotorheads seem to have been a bit more practiced and well versed in this, but it is too late. The ambush has been sprung, and at the top of this zigzaggy hill, the other players are hitting them now from this direction. So from front and the back, the players have a much better chance, but it looks like their medical facility on wheels has driven right past the first player rover as the other escorts have started to engage. They need to stop this here. The players have tried to layer this ambush. You can see that there's one of the smaller rovers intercepting it with missiles on the hill, but just not quite connecting with the wheels, and the players have got a final line of defense here with some extra rovers they have left on the other side of the hill in case it got through. Now it looks like they've done quite a good job at stopping the escort. Now I've spoke too soon. The escorts here look like they managed to make it through. They've only managed to hold up sort of one of the escort rovers, the largest one at the back here, but there's two of the smaller escorts that have broken through and are pushing now on these final layers of defense that the players have got. So this small or large rover here, the combo both need to stop them, and it looks like it's not going to happen. The escorts are spreading out the fire between the two rovers, and the medical facility is rolling straight through the middle. There's a lot of Gatling gun fire going from one of these smaller rovers, but a lot of it seems to be missing the main wheelbase of these rovers. It needs to get a little bit closer so it can deliver some of them Gatling gun shots to the wheels. On the right here, there has been a massive collision. We've had two large rovers hitting each other. Now, I don't know if that was part of the player's plan, but it has bought them a bit of time to attempt to catch up. The yellow submarine rover is on the tail of the other rover, and it's landed some shots, sending the other escort into a bit of a spiral here. The back wheel has been disabled, that's caught with the ground, and it looks like it has been taken out. But I don't want to speak too soon. These rovers can simply wheel back onto their wheels and be back on. Now, RAB taking advantage of the situation and managed to push through and they are still on the tail of this rover. One of the smaller rovers is delivering some quite accurate shots into the wheelbase here. You're going to see some components starting to snap off, but with these smaller rovers, sometimes they just can't deliver enough firepower alone, and this rover being off ahead from the rest of the pack, the other players need a chance to catch up. So any wheel, any bit of terrain here that this rover hits and slows down, you can see the little rover here trying to deliver missiles to them critical areas, and it is disabling some of the wheels. It's not blowing them off completely, but they're damaged and they won't be functioning, so it's doing its best to try and stop this vehicle from approaching. But as we know, just over the next ridge is the pit. RAB have came once again out of nowhere and are delivering more rockets to the rear of this rover. Just a few more rocket and artillery strikes on this rover and it will be unsuccessful in stopping it. So some great rockets going through there, but just a little bit too high. And there we have it, the gates of the uranium pit in sight, but a giant explosion has occurred and wheels look like they've been torn off the back of this rover. So great work here to RAB. They are real. Oh, another wheel has been taken out by RAB. They're doing a great job, as well as this little rover here, in trying to stop this convoy, and it has bought them a little bit of time. Other players are now coming out of the rear after dealing with the escorts to inflict some more damage. It looks like an ANA rover, this black one you can see behind the RAB rover, has occurred. Is it going to collide with the back of the other one? It looks like it has. So some of the small players here and a small rotorhead bike is trying to engage, and it looks like these two rovers have phased together. The worst possible time for a phasing incident to happen, just as they're about to stop this rover from getting into the pit. Another little rover jumping into the scene. Now these little rovers at this point, if they manage to get in between them wheels, they could inflict some serious damage, and it looks like the pilot of this one knows exactly what they're doing, and they're trying to get in between the wheels, damage the axles, and stop that rover from rolling in. And you can see the momentum of this rover looks like it's just purely wheel rolling in the background there. It's just purely based on the hill here. Some of the wheels are trying to spin and get some grip, but it's just really not working. A little blue rover there with some extra Gatling gun fire, trying to stop it at all costs, maybe even using itself as a way of slowing this rover down, but it's still just rolling on into the pit. The small rovers just don't have enough firepower to seem to be able to take out the remaining wheels, but it could get stuck in any of these bumps here, explosions and craters. Now, it did get stuck, but the rotorheads had a sneaky little plan. One of the escorts managed to break through the rest of the players and push the hospital in from behind, and it was just in the nick of the time because the small rovers had managed to take out another one of its wheels. This one was pushed in by the absolute skin of its teeth. Now we've got one final monument to take out. The players regrouped, they rearmed, they've got everything repaired that they possibly could in the short time between the next convoy, and over that next ridge you can see it coming, and it's one hell of a scary rover. So the players don't really have a strategy for this one, and it's not too far from the pit to begin with since it's caught them a little off guard. But this is one hell of a heavy rover, so damaging a few wheels or getting it stuck on some of the terrain might be the best way of taking it out. And it looks like the rotorheads and the players are going head to head. Missiles are spewing out both of rovers, and look at the carnage that's going on here. You can see the small rovers moving past. Look at that, the little sniper robot there. We've got the ANA large grid trying to cut through, dealing with the escorts. Lots of missile fire, lots of damage being exchanged. The rotorheads are doing everything they can to stop these rovers breaking through, but there's just so many of them, including all these little small ones here that are dazzling them with the purple light. Wow, that's crazy. Sometimes the things I see on this server, they blow my mind. I just wouldn't expect to be seeing a giant monument like this being intercepted by other players, but when it comes to reality like this and you manage to get the team behind it doing it, it's beautiful. The players are now landing successful shots, and you can see a lot of the wheels have been damaged towards the front of the rover, and the players also have another nasty hidden surprise up ahead. Where that little rover is placed, there has been some sneaky mines added to the path of this rover in front of it, and it could hit one at any moment, and if it does, it might slow it down enough for the rest of the players to catch up. But it's really moving quite fast for a large rover, and it looks like, there we go, it has hit one of the mines. So that mines has bought the players some time. You can see they're moving in from the rear, firing more missiles. The escorts are trying to stop the players from getting in there, but they've got quite a selection of rovers on their hands here, both big and small. And with so many missiles and so much Gatling fire going towards the back of the wheelbase of that rover, it's going to be bloody hard. But the players have still got a big challenge on their hands. There's lots of wheels, there's lots of performance in that rover, So they've got to take the wheels out one by one. It looks like ROV are doing some of the work here, trying to hit the wheels here from behind with all their turrets. But that blast door armor protector on the back of the wheelbase is doing a lot of work there as well. They're also getting hammered from behind by one of the rotor head escort vehicles. This is absolute carnage, and it's what I love to see on the server. Now coming over here we have this little truck, and this truck could change the battle. It's filled with warhead explosives in the back, and if this got under the wheelbase of that rover, if it can breach through the perimeter defences, it looks like the rover's also still sort of stalled on the top of the ridge. This could be the time that the players need to take it out. So wheels are being lost, and I'm typing in chat frantically trying to rally the players to take it out, but they're doing a great job. You can see all the Gatling fire and damage being done to that rovers. The defenders are trying to stop them doing the damage, but once it's over this ridge, the players are going to have to deal with gravity and the rover just simply wheeling into the objective area. So more Gatling gunfire going out. Some railgun fire, it looked like, possibly from the side there. I saw a big blast go into the centre just under the bridge. It looks like some of the smaller rovers are attempting to try and snipe out them wheels. But it is over. Nothing really stands in its way. The defenders have done a great job. And with a lack of time for the sort of player attackers in this one, it's pretty bloody hard. So you can see the rotor-head rover is following it up from the rear, offering some protection, stopping the rockets. ROV are still trying to get in there. The rest of the players are struggling to get past the defending rotor-heads that are bringing up the rear of the convoy here. ROV are still trying to hit the wheelbase, do anything they can to stop it. We've got a few smaller rovers firing some great shots, and it looks like it's been caught up on the terrain. This is going to give the players another chance to stop this just before the entrance. And if we look carefully here, it looks like ROV turrets are down across that rover, and it is getting caught on the ground with them front sort of mud guards. This is giving the players just that tiny little bit of time they need, but I know the rotor heads are working frantically to get this rover unstuck. So some of the smaller rovers are popping in here, trying to take out wheels. We've got an interception here by one of the larger player rovers. It looks like they've tried to hit the escort vehicles. This was the escort vehicle last time that pushed the large grid into the pit, so that's probably quite a good decision here. There's not much left that the rotor heads can do to push that grid in. There's still a little bit of fighting going out on the edge of the pit, quite a lot of damage to the small rovers, but the majority of the battle here is right at the gates, and it is down to the wire. But it looks like the players have let this one get through. I don't know what's going to be in store for them, what the rotor heads have planned with all these monuments that they've managed to push into this uranium pit, but it certainly is going to be exciting. So if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, and if you're interested in joining us on our servers, jump in the description, hit our Discord, and you can find out all the information there.